Hello friends, welcome to my channel Creating Essence. I am Megan. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I am currently in my 36th week of pregnancy with baby number 7, and it's time for another pregnancy update. I had an appointment with one of my midwives today, so we'll start there. I didn't gain any weight in the last week, which means I have gained 1 pound for the whole pregnancy. Our girl went from measuring 2 weeks ahead to now right on target, which is pretty normal for me. Once I get to this point of pregnancy, they drop really low and get locked and loaded, so it kind of looks like they go backward in growth. So she went from measuring 38 weeks to measuring 36 weeks. It's really just because she's so incredibly low that she's taking up less room, so things don't go quite as high. She's in a great position for delivery, very low. So whenever the time comes, as long as she kind of hangs out where she is now, she's in optimal position and alignment, and those are all good things. My blood pressure was great. It was 120/70, and it's kind of been hanging out between 100/60 to about the 120/70 is the highest that it gets. Basically my whole pregnancy. We talked a lot about the autoimmune issues I've been having. It has been really difficult to find information about these types of autoimmune issues that I have during pregnancy for non-medicated people. It is just the standard of care that when someone is diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, they are put on a whole list of things like steroids, daily NSAIDs for inflammation, sleep medication for the clinical insomnia, things like SSRIs for the mental and emotional health because of the struggle with dealing with all of the physical things going on. And I kind of rejected those things when I was going through the kind of the crisis point that led to the diagnosis, because I don't want to be hooked on medications my whole life. I've talked a lot about my autoimmune disease. I will put a link below to the video that I did explaining chronic fatigue syndrome and what I've experienced. I chose to try to heal my body. I just didn't want to get hooked on medications. So I took a diet and a really pure food sourced supplement approach, and within 2 years had my autoimmune issues completely in remission, and they've stayed in remission this entire time. There are some things that just because of my body having this issue have been a struggle, like dealing with severe heat is really draining, but no actual flares of the autoimmune issues for more than a year, going on 2 years. So when I started having some health issues in May, they weren't my normal autoimmune issues, so I didn't even think about autoimmune issues. I thought like UTIs, things like that. And my midwives ran a whole panel, a urinalysis, a full blood panel, and everything was completely clean. I'm not anemic, my iron is excellent. No traces of UTI, nothing but all the good stuff that's supposed to be there. And one of them brought up, like, could this be autoimmune related? And I was like, no, because this is not my usual autoimmune issues. So I started doing a lot of research and realized, number one, it's impossible to find information on what pregnancy is like if you have autoimmune issues and are not pharmaceutically treated. And number two, I also found that the things I've been dealing with can be symptoms involved with chronic fatigue syndrome. So maybe my body's just having these issues and expressing it differently because I am pregnant, and you know, the hormones and things change things up. So I got back on my food source supplements that are safe for pregnancy, and I'm just keeping a very clean diet and trying to be intentional with self-care. It is a lot more difficult being in the 9th month of pregnancy and trying to be so attentive to self-care and doing what my body needs, because I basically can't do what my body needs. I need to sleep, And it's so hard to sleep. Anyone in the end of pregnancy will tell you sleep is so difficult, and sleep is the number one thing that I need aside from a clean diet when I'm dealing with an autoimmune flare. So it's been rough. When I talked through these things with my midwife today, she completely agreed. She's very, very supportive. She is highly skilled in a lot of naturopathic medicine. She's much more than just a midwife. And I say just as if that's a small thing. She's highly educated and very skilled in a lot of areas of health. So this is not just something she's guessing at. She knows. Things have been going pretty well physically in general. I'm feeling good. I have some sore days now and then where my hips and back are, you know, just plain tired. Carrying around a big baby. She's a big baby, just like all my other babies, despite my lack of weight gain. My midwife agreed today. It's very clear that despite my body physically struggling in those ways, it's taking good care of the baby and growing her very well. So I do get sore muscles and the achy hips, especially at the end of the day. And if I've done a lot of physical work, I can get really, really sore. But also because she's so high and I have such limited stomach space at this point that I just feel like I cannot possibly drink enough water. And I'm finding myself having to choose between, do I drink the water I feel like I need to drink, or do I eat a meal? Because if I try to do both, I get terrible reflux because I'm just so full. Like everything just immediately comes right back up and burns. So I find I tend to lean toward the water side. And that could be a reason why I'm not gaining weight, because I'm just really not eating much. And what I do eat is like really clean meats and proteins and raw vegetables. We live in Central Virginia. Every day this week has been in the low to mid 90s, and the heat index every single day says that it feels like well over 100. So it's pretty hot. And the humidity is always 60 to 70% or greater. So it's fun. If I don't get it done really early or really late, it's just not getting done because I just can't during the day. I've also been really struggling, like emotionally. There's so much tension and division and hatred and bullying going on in the world, and just this sense of people being entitled to treat others like garbage for a variety of reasons. It hurts my heart, and it has me really emotionally stressed and emotionally low. There are obviously still a lot of wonderful humans out there. It's difficult when the loudest voices are the awful ones, and it just has my heart really low. So I got off of Facebook entirely. We still have our page for our channel, which is always linked in the info box below, and we post at least once a day on there. But I got off of my personal Facebook. It's so much meanness and berating and of anyone who does not believe identically to you. I just can't. And, you know, there are other personal things that have me feeling, you know, really emotional these days. And it's just been a lot. It's been really, really heavy. I'm thankful for the few people I do have around me who've been really awesome and supportive, and talked about that a lot with my midwife today too. And she was really encouraging and wonderful. So I was gonna do what she said. Keep processing, cry when I feel like I need to cry, and frankly, do some emotional nesting and blocking out the people and situations that are so hurtful and heavy in my heart. I posted in my Instagram stories that I was going to be filming this update and asked if anybody had any questions to post them for me. One question was, when do you think she will be born? You know, we have two exceptions. All my kids have been born in a very small 2-day window. With this being baby number 7, I feel like she's probably gonna, you know, fall in there as well. but obviously she can do whatever she wants. She might be my first baby that goes overdue. Who knows? My second, third, and sixth were all born in a 2-day window of 39 weeks, 5 days to 40 weeks, like right on that estimated due date. And my fourth was at the end of 38 weeks, so almost into 39 weeks. So I would guess she's going to be born in the 40th week, sometime between 39 weeks and her estimated due date. I'm guessing she's going to come the first or second week of August. Another question was, are you doing any freezer meals or batch baking before baby girl arrives? Kinda. A little bit, what I can, but what I don't really have space because we just got our annual half a cow. So our chest freezer is completely full of beef, and our refrigerator freezer, the one in our kitchen that's side by side with our refrigerator, is mostly full of beef too. But I'm also working on putting up stuff from the garden, like freezing shredded zucchini and basil puree and chopped kale. So I don't really have much room. Another question is, how will you be handling homeschooling once the baby's born? Well, I am doing all of my lesson planning for our first 6-week term. Now, I usually do lesson planning 1 week at a time, but I'm doing the whole first 6-week term, which will go from July 27th until September 11th. I'm doing that planning now so that once she's born, my husband can just kind of pick up where we left off and take over from there, and there will be no guesswork for him. Another question was, will you have a baby shower or do you have a registry? I'm not having a baby shower. We really have most of our needs. We're real minimalists when it comes to having a baby. A friend joked with me the other day that I'm a kindred spirit to her, in that when a baby's born, if you have some cloth diapers and you've got breast milk, you're basically good to go. A car seat is a bonus. We're pretty similar in that regard, but because this is the first girl for us in 10 years after 4 boys, we were asked if we would put together a baby registry, just of little girly things and a few things we might need. So we did do that on Amazon. I'll put a link to it in the comment section below because a lot of people have actually asked about that. Most of them are not needs. There are a couple of cloth diapering things that I do need because it has been a while since we've had a baby this small. So most of them are wants, just sweet things that would be nice for a girl. But we're really grateful that we have so many friends and viewers who wanted to know about a baby registry and be able to help us out in that way. And that is it for the questions and for this week's pregnancy update. As always, if you have any more questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below. I'm happy to answer them. Thank you all so much for your love and support, and we'll see you again soon.